Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of OHKO. So today, for the first time in a while, I want to talk about Kartana. You see, things happen, ladies and gentlemen. Over the course of a season, over the course of several seasons, cards get better and cards get worse. Well, there's a card from Unbroken Bonds, which is awesome, and has never seen the love it deserves. It is the Kartana from Unbroken Bonds. And I think we might finally be in a position where the Kartana from Unbroken Bonds is actually really good, or at the very least, a little bit viable. Now, starting off, it's got 70 HP, which is frankly not very large, especially given that it's our main attacker. And you do have a weakness to fire, which is kind of rubbish with all these welder decks running around, but then again, I've just told you it's got 70 HP, so I don't think we're going to be particularly upset about the weakness, given that it's never going to be relevant, rarely anyway. I suppose, at the very least, you've got survivability against 30 damage, then again... Okay, right. The Volcanion from Unbroken Bonds does do a natural 50, so we'll easily get a KO. But a Reshiram and Charizard with 2 energy and no damage on will be outraging for 60. So there we go. The 70 HP plus a weakness will save you against that one specific instance. But that's not really what we're going for here, right? Because we're going to get KO'd, it doesn't matter. We have also got Free Retreat, and I will say that Free Retreat, although not a reason to play the card in and of itself, very handy bonus. Now, there is actually a first attack here, which is alright. As a tech, this would be the reason to play it. 1 grass energy. If you have exactly 4 prize cards remaining, this attack does 130 damage. 130 damage for a single energy is really good. The problem is, this is the kind of Pokemon you need when you're hitting for weakness. If Stonejourner was really popular, this would be kind of awesome. As it is, we're rarely going to need to use it. There will be those odd occasions where your opponent has a single prize Pokemon, something like a Volcanion for instance, and you do just need to go and get a KO on it. This has got your back. Outside of that, no. But it's the second attack we're really looking at here, False Swipe. 1 grass, 2 colorless energy, flip a coin. If heads, put damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon until its remaining HP is 10. So you put them down to 10, and it doesn't matter what it is. Oh, 320 HP Eternatus V Max, which is going to be a very good Pokemon that sees a bunch of play. Yeah, flip a coin, you put it down to 10 HP remaining. It basically makes everything into a one-hit KO range, which is awesome. Now, I know at this stage some of you might be thinking, well, hang on a second, Wassy, you said 10 HP remaining, you never said anything about a KO. Why are you talking one-hit KO range? And the answer is Garbodor. Simple as that. In Sword and Shield, we got Garbodor, and Garbodor sits on the bench. And if there's a stadium in play, you just get to poison your opponent's active. Doesn't need to be active, doesn't need a particular tool attached or any of that rubbish. It just gets poison on. And okay, there needs to be a stadium in play, but it can be yours or your opponent's. And as we're going to talk about in a minute, there will basically always be a stadium in play. And if there isn't, you've got a stadium that you can play. So really don't worry about this, there are going to be stadiums in play. So now you put your opponent down to 10 HP remaining, but in a situation where they are definitely going to be poisoned, so you're good. Yes, your opponent could play Cobalion GX and some Metal Energy, so that they're not affected by special conditions. And yes, your opponent could play Galarian Rapidash, so they're not affected by special conditions. But the fact of the matter is, nobody's playing those cards at the moment. I think they should be played with Jirachi post-rotation, so you can retreat with U-turn board even when you're asleep. But when I've suggested that on these videos, people have generally not been in agreement. So the chances are that special conditions aren't going to be removed. So what you can do is basically rock up here and just start getting one-hit KOs on everything if you can flip a heads. And the if is quite a big thing here. You do need to be able to flip a heads. But do remember that Glimwood Tangle is now going to be a thing. Glimwood Tangle is a stadium that does what the old Victini did. If you flip for an attack and you don't get the flips you want, you may reflip. Now, okay, it only gives you a 75% chance of getting a KO, but that's a 75% chance of getting a KO. It means that you will whiff it once every 4th time. Now, if you take something like Eternatus VMAX, yeah, they're going to be one-hit KOing you constantly. But you should be one-hit KOing them. They give up 3 prizes, you give up 1. So every 2 attacks, you should be taking 6 prizes and they should be taking 2. Now let's assume that you whiff 1 out of 3. Not even 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3. Then all of a sudden in 3 attacks you're taking 6 prizes, in 3 attacks they're taking 3 prizes. That's fine. Against a 2 prize attacker, something like Zacian for instance. In 3 attacks you should be taking 6 prizes. That's enough to win, incidentally. Now let's assume you whiff 1 out of every 4 flips, which you should, and let's assume that it's not the 4th flip. You now have to attack 4 times into Zacian. One of them's going to whiff. The others are going to get you 2 prizes. You win in 4 attacks. Zacian wins in 6 attacks. Even if they get a couple of KOs before you get rolling, you still should win the prize race. My point here is that yes, against single prize decks, this probably isn't going to work so well, because they're going to be one-hitting you easily. Again, you've got 70 HP, and you're only taking 1 prize per KO, and you're going to whiff the odd flip, and if you whiff the flip, nothing happens, and that's really bad. But against multiple prize decks, and it really is multiple prize decks out there at the moment that are by far the best, it is really worth bearing in mind that this is going to be awesome. And the odd whiffed flip, as long as you whiff 1 out of 4, or even 1 out of 3, shouldn't be a huge issue. You'll be absolutely fine. So you've got Garbodor for the poison, you've got Glimwood Tangle for the flip. The only other real question here is the energy. And the energy is a question, incidentally. Because the problem is, you still need free energy to attack. And because you've got 70 HP, the likelihood is you are going to be KO'd every turn. I mean, one thing which is played a lot at the moment is Tapu Fini. Now, Tapu Fini is played as a shameless Blacephalon counter. We'll get a KO either on the GX or the non-GX for a single colourless energy. But against an Ultra Beast, it does 100 for a single colourless energy. They will actually get a straight 1 hit on you for a single energy. Again, their deck should have a bunch of stuff that can KO you anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. But then again, we're still talking basic Pokemon single energy. It is still something you need to bear in mind here. So back to the energy then. We expect to be KO'd every turn. How are we getting the energy on? The good news is, being a non-GX, non-V Pokemon, you've got Twin Energy. The bad news is that isn't enough. You need a third energy. And that's where things get awkward. Now, Rillaboom will do this very nicely indeed. Rillaboom's amazing. Rillaboom accelerates 2 grass energy from your deck to your Pokemon, and then you just attach from your hand and you're good. You'll only ever need 1 Rillaboom out, though maybe a couple of Rillaboom for when your opponent inevitably bosses orders and KOs. Then again, if they bosses orders and KO, that gives you 1 more turn where your Kartana isn't being KO'd, so maybe not. But at that stage, you're attacking for basic, but you need a stage 1 and a stage 2 backing you up. I'm not saying it's not viable, but I am saying it does make things more awkward. We've got, or we're gonna have, Turbo Patch that lets you flip a coin, and if heads, you attach an energy from your discard to one of your basic non-GX Pokemon. And this is awesome, but again, it's on a coin flip. Do you really want to add more flipping in? And this one can't be saved by Glimwood Tangle, incidentally. Having said that, you play 4 of these in your deck, you expect to hit 2 of them. That's 2 Kartana rolling. And then you assume that, if you go first or second, whatever, you should have 1 turn where you can attach an energy to Kartana and it's not getting KO'd. So there's 3 Kartana you've got up and rolling, and maybe against multiple prize Pokemon that's enough. Your 1 attachment early doors added to 2 Turbo Patch, that's 3 Kartana and that's enough. My point is that because we've got Twin Energy, and because we've got Garboda, and because we've got Glimwood Tangle, and because the format at the moment is being absolutely overrun by multiple prize Pokemon, that makes something like Kartana genuinely legitimately viable now in a way that it wasn't before. I am not worried about the flip. Not even a little bit. Because the fact of the matter is, against multiple prize decks, you'll whiff 1 out of every 4 flips on average, and that is not going to be a huge problem. The bigger issue I have here is partly one of energy. Do you use Turbo Patch? Do you use Rillaboom? Neither of those are perfect solutions. And what you do against single prize decks, because against single prize decks, the fact that you need the extra energy, the fact you're going to whiff the odd flip, etc., does get significantly more awkward. But there's nothing to stop you playing a couple of other attackers just in case you are against a single prize deck. Either way, this is a combo that I really wanted to talk about. It was actually used over on a Japanese stream recently, an official stream, where somebody lost, and because they lost we didn't get to see a new card, so cheers for that. But this is a combo I think you need to start taking seriously, because if multiple prize decks stay as good as they have been, this is one to really look out for as a surprise deck that could make waves. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to know from you guys. I'd like to know how good you think this is. I'd like to know if you think this is as good as I think it is, or whether you think it's just a little bit overblown. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.